greed and pride. Greed and pride are the afflictions, if you will, the two of the five poisons that Ratnasambhava is the energy of Ratnasambhava is there to help us overcome. So Mamaki, she is the wisdom principle. She is a representation of that part of you, Jyali, who understands the unity of shunyata, that there is no distinction. This is one reason why Ratnasambhava is also sort of the Buddha of what's called sameness, or unity, that all things are seen through this wisdom, that all things are seen to be the Shakti, an emanation, if you will, behind Ratnasambhava's generosity. Whereas, if our nature is to be greedy and prideful, then we need this medicine. We need this this teaching of Ratnasambhava from the wisdom of Mamaki, of emptiness. Ratnasambhava then can be generous, which is the first of the perfections, generosity. So I know it's confusing. A lot of these things sort of overlap with other teachings. I think that, like with any deity practice, if I somehow am subject to greed and to prideful accomplishment or just egoic pride, then I may cultivate this quality of Ratnasambhava and visualize this being as being perfectly in equanimity, seeing all things as the same, and then dissolve that image of that being into me, and then I become Ratnasambhava. Along with the benefits that come with Ratnasambhava, this notion of abundance, Ratnasambhava and Mamaki as a union. Each of these five Buddhas and their consorts are really there to help us transmute energy. And that there is kind of a skillfulness associated with each of them. So even if we're not focused on the Buddhas and the consorts and the imagery, we can just focus on the energies themselves. For example, Ratnasambhava and Mamaki, which is this third union between this male-female union, are seen to be responding to what we call the skandha of feeling. So I think someone mentioned this last week or the week before. I can't recall who it was during our discussion, but that the five aggregates are also part of each of these. And so the first for Vairocana and Akashadatishvari, his consort, is form. And the aggregate of form, in essence, that we see form, we perceive form, we are in nirmanakayas, or embodied, and this is that which arises from Dharmadhatu, from the Buddha field. Yeah? And so the Buddha field, the Dharmadhatu, is seen to be in the realm, associated with the form skandha. And interestingly, then the second one, Akshobhya, is associated now, and this is not in order, with consciousness, with the skandha of consciousness. And how this plays out then with Ratnasambhava, we are now in the form, or rather in the skandha of feeling, that largely our experiences are made up of this form, feeling, perception, mentation or conation, and consciousness. These are the sort of the five aspects of experience. And they each have sort of a clinging aspect to them. So, for example, the skandha of feeling. Feeling can be that which is craving, it can be resistance, so in the form of akshobhya, as an example. Consciousness can be located sort of in its tendencies. I realize I'm starting to get into the weeds here. Let's just focus on feeling. Feeling can be either that which is subject to craving and aversion and so on, right? But it can also be when Ratnasambhava shows us how to be generous, feeling can also have this counter benefit that when we can experience generosity, selflessness, and the spirit of giving, that too is in the form of feeling, but it's a wholesome feeling. So when we explore these five Buddhas, we're also exploring sort of how they relate, how basically these teachings can help us transform things like prideful clinging and greed to generosity based on the teachings associated with each Buddha family. So it does get very sophisticated, and I don't pretend that this is just kind of an easy one-on-one kind of grid that you can look at. But I think that the merit here when we talk about wisdom energy, we're really talking about the energy of feeling and transforming it through equanimity to generosity. That is what takes us from the greediness, cultivating equanimity, cultivating a sense of sameness, that this is very much like that, and then leading to basically the bodhicitta motivation of generosity and selflessness.